everyone. Welcome to episode 102 of Formidable Opponents, a show that picks three people who have known each other virtually their entire lives in a series of conversations as we argue what is best in a variety of fun, engaging, and critical pop culture topics we all debate about. I'm Randall, and with me as always, Bob and Joseph, and this week's topic is Best Pink Floyd Song. First off, yes, I recognize that out of all three of us, I have the worst voice tone for this intro. What can you say about this immersive, thought-provoking, psychedelic band from London that hasn't been said? Well, that's our job today. Their music has taken us on journeys through time, space, and a whirlwind of emotions. There are very few bands out there that can make you feel the way Pink Floyd does. Their lyrics and instrumentals create a unique and captivating experience. Pink Floyd's music has this legendary ability to transport you to another dimension. The combination of their mesmerizing melodies, introspective thoughts, and mind-bending instrumentals creates an outwardly experience. This cosmic journey through sound has been highlighted with albums such as Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, which are both certifiably iconic and have left a lasting impact on music history. Their songs are like a sonic tapestry, weaving together a masterpiece of voice and sound. It's impossible not to get lost in their music and let your mind wander. This week we honor a band that has had a lasting impact on us and to the people who introduced them to us, because Pink Floyd isn't just a band. They're not just a sound. You have to think and reflect with Pink Floyd. Their songs make you smarter. They make you braver. They make you love more. And for some people, they make you fight giant imaginary cigarette-smoking ducks dressed in denim vests, depending on the recreational activity you accompany their music with. This week, Formidable Opponents debates and discusses Best Pink Floyd Song. As always, I'm joined by two guys who would also not accept a collect call from Mr. Floyd. Bob and Joseph, how are you guys doing?
Can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. How can you have any pudding?
Man, Randy, I gotta give you props on that one. You said a lot of nice things, a lot of nice things about how I feel about what you need to experience when listening to this band.
You messed up the ducks aren't smoking cigarettes; they're smoking weed or they're smoking cigars. Come on, man, get your shit together.
First off, what's up, everybody?
It's been a long time. I don't want to say it's been a while because I know what the response is to that.
Been a while,
but we're back.
We're
back. Bitches.
Three of us.
The first fucked up thing, I don't remember shooting or
certainly
recording
not better.
Episode 101. What was episode 101?
I know, right?
I remember 100. I thought this was 101.
That was the best song of 1989, and it took place in that year. A lot has happened, guys, in the sporting world since we've last recorded. The Rangers won the World Series. Football is at its apex. Basketball has started. The NBA started. You know, guys, one good thing about
basketball season doesn't start until football season ends, sir. Stop it.
Can I mention one thing about the NBA?
Go
One good thing about COVID is that the NBA coaches now dress a lot more relaxed on the sidelines. I like the team sweater JCPenney catalog look. Look, I like my NBA coaches looking like they're going to the orchard for apple picking rather than looking like middle school principals. If only baseball evolved to allow managers to dress more casually instead of uniforms. I think we're okay with seeing Bruce Bochy in some Hager slacks instead of seeing him in baseball pants with his pancake ass. What do you guys think? I think baseball needs to evolve along with the NBA and NFL. No more suits or uniforms.
Well, I wouldn't say they have to wear uniforms, but I mean, at least something.
We gotta get rid of. Okay, first off, we gotta get rid of the baseball pants for the coach. Where you don't need to be wearing those athletic pants, bro. Baseball. I don't wear those. Fuck, I'm a baseball coach. I don't do that shit.
Like warm-ups or track.
Even warm-ups. Show the bulge. You can't be showing the bulge off. Come on. No,
I mean, but suits. No, I mean that's a little too far. I think the suits look. I think the suit look is cool in football. I know that they had kind of brought that back, and I forgot what coach it was. I think it was for the 49ers back.
It was he used to play linebacker for the Cowboys.
Who didn't? The suits are badass. Yeah, the suits are cool. Dan Reeves, no, Tom Andrew, you fool. Look at that sweater vest. God damn it.
No, but they can loosen it up for managers. And,
I think so.
And first and second base third base coaches.
Managers should be able to wear like a t-shirt and some.
They don't need to look like they're out there to play baseball.
I remember when Tommy Lasorda was wearing a uniform. He looked like a little leaguer. I mean, come on, man.
Shit, you're like, first of all, your pants are too tight in that jersey. What the fuck, bro?
And Pobrecito, what's his name? They got punched by or thrown to the ground by
the Yankees coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just old little man being thrown wearing his baseball uniform. It's sad.
What a pathetic sight. Speaking of pathetic, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about a incident that happened to me. You guys know about it, but I'm talking to the audience right now. So I had the opportunity to do a guest podcast appearance on our friends' podcast, Turn of the Millennials, with Steffi and Lindy. And we were talking about mental health, and Bob and Joseph couldn't make the show. I could. It was on a Saturday, and the stomach virus was going around in my family. About 2 hours before the episode was about to record, I took a nap because I started feeling very sick. And I said, I cannot leave them hanging. It's 2 hours before they're going to record. We've been talking about it all week. They sent me notes. They've been working very diligently on it. And most importantly, they sent us Canadian snacks. So for butter tarts, we'll get out of bed and record. So whatever. So we started recording, and I tell both Steffi and Lindy, you have about an hour with me, because in an hour, I need to leave because I feel sick. But we had a good 45 minutes. You know, I finally got to talk on a podcast with two people I like, so I was excited about that. And so, you know, I've done a lot of things on podcasts. That means
he doesn't like us, guys.
It took a while. Okay.
That was a subtle jab.
So I've done a lot of things.
You don't do some of this fucking fun. This is amazing.
I've done a lot of things on podcasts. I've overshared. I've been wrong. I've said things I've regretted. I've gotten emotional. But here's a first. I passed out during the recording, and it wasn't from drinking. And that's passed out. I didn't faint, because fainting sounds like a Southern woman going, oh, you know. But I ended up passing out on a podcast from.
He was wearing a dress though.
I passed out like I got hit by a middle linebacker, which was called the stomach bug. It was just, I felt so bad, because this is what happened. I'm recording. I tell them I need to take a break. I go lay down for a minute. I come back to the microphone. I put my head down. I hear them calling my name, and I get up and I said, no, let's go. Let's wrap this up. And then I put my head down again, and I hear them calling my name, and I think they think I died or something. And so I get up and I start talking again. They're like, no, we stopped recording. Like, stop talking. You know, I just felt really embarrassed by it. And they were shouting, we're done. Don't worry about it. And I know they texted you guys.
That sounds like a bad sexual experience. Like, it's okay. Just wake up. You can just put on your pants and go home. Fuck.
Two women
it's
telling
okay.
you to leave.
No, you tried your best. It's all right.
You know, Joseph, to quote your favorite band, I was down with a sickness and I was just not feeling good, man. And, you know, I want to apologize to Steffi and Lindy for that awful episode. But I think we had a good 45 minutes. So I hope they edit it out and everything goes okay for them.
It was a good 4 to 5 minutes. I don't know about 45, but
just terrible. What else is going on with you guys? Anything new?
Well, I want to mention this to the crowd. Like, so my daughter's birthday was Saturday, so we're here celebrating my birthday. So I didn't have my phone with me, and all of a sudden, you know, I had my phone off to the side. We're singing "Happy Birthday." We're cutting cake and having a good time for my little daughter's birthday. All of a sudden, I check my phone. I'm like, missed calls from the Turn of the Millennials, missed calls from Steffi. Randall passed out on the show. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, freak out. What the fuck? Let me text them. What the fuck? Joseph, this is going on, and he calling Randy. We're trying to figure out what the deal is. Like, holy shit, scared the shit out of us, man.
And honestly, who's
gonna edit the show if Randy can't do it?
Certainly not you guys.
out of necessity, we need him. So,
it was bad because and I told Randy this. I said, it's bad when Bob and I don't communicate on the telephone. It's just not something we do. We
just look at each other from across the room. We know it's on.
Sometimes, and then, we know what's up. Thumbs up sometimes from across the bar. I just, you need, okay, thumbs up. All right, good. Anyway, so I hear my phone ring. I look at it and it's well, actually I had my watch. My phone wasn't near me. I had my watch and I see that it's Bob calling. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, Bob doesn't call me. What the hell is going on? Bob texts me. What the hell is... So I think I missed his call. So I had to go get my phone. And he immediately answers and is like, hey,
you answer every time I call you, Joseph. God damn it.
He goes, Randy, or he told me, like, yeah, I forgot. I don't remember specifically, but basically was the gist of was Randy passed out on camera. I was like, what do you mean he passed out on camera?
I mean, the dude was naked, choking himself, and he passed out. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
They made it sound like I had my head back, jaw wide open, like sprawled out. I put my head down and I slept.
Well, that's basically what we thought. That like you may be like,
that doesn't make it any better.
Like you faint. Like I was like, I think I said, I was like he fainted. Like Lord heavens. And it's like, okay, well let me try calling him. So I called it, ran, and he immediately answers, and it's like one of these, hello.
He's trying to sexy voice.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
He's like, yeah, why?
What the hell's the matter with you?
They just called and said you died on camera, fucker. Scared the shit out of us.
So I don't know if they're going to publish the episode. I told them I'd be happy to re-record. We had a great 45-minute conversation until I screwed it up. So maybe they could salvage something. And if it's posted, we encourage everybody. There's actually an important message behind it. It's about mental health. And there was some very good, serious conversations going on. And so if the audience listening here could check it out, if they post it, turn to the millennials, check them out because they're really great people.
We'll let you know if they do. Yeah,
yes, as long as they don't post that clip of me.
Hopefully it's not just like a clip, it's like a GIF where like you just like lying down and going out, and then making the noise.
I become a meme.
That'd be awesome. Have you seen the new formidable opponents meme? It's Randall passed out making these really high pitched hymns at the
so they auto tune it and shit.
Speaking of high-pitched hymns, let's talk a little bit about Pink Floyd.
Boy, we're getting back on track. Pink Floyd, that's the way to go, folks. That's what you're here for. Stoners, I'm with you, baby.
Let's talk about this band. So I don't know if I sent you guys the questions because it's been about 2 years since we've met.
I had to go back through my spam folder and everything.
The deleted messages.
Get questions, Marico, and that was back in 2022.
So, guys,
I found them.
You found? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. On your old glow-in-the-dark Apple computer. Okay, so
he still has an AOL account, by the way, email account.
Guys, give me your reasons as to why Pink Floyd is one of the best and most important rock bands of all time.
It's that incorporation of blues and psychedelic rock with this amazing sound and guitar play and lyrics, and then there's some political lyrics as well, like social commentary in it. The keyboard / piano play, the drums. There's everything about this band is just so fucking amazing, man. And that's because they lost the original lead singer Sid Barrett.
Yes.
At the beginning after the first or second album, I'm sorry. And the band continued to evolve and release album after album. And it wasn't just a one and done or, oh man, they put out this great album back in 72 and then nothing ever happened after that. They continue to make fantastic music and albums and songs that are just like make you change the way you feel about rock and roll music. And I think that these guys are one of the best rock bands of all time. Fans of ours know that I'm a huge 70s rock fan and classic rock fan, 60s rock fan. Besides Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, man, they've really changed the landscape of what rock music and music in general could be, and how it can evolve over time and be such just this amazing piece of music.
Yeah, I wrote down their influence, their influence on a newer type of like psychedelic rock and bluesy progressive rock. A nice mix of these two elements. That really creates the sound of a lot of the music that I like to listen to today, mainly like Tool, who've in their own right carved out their own unique portion of progressive rock, but also like Bob said too, that bluesy sound, that bluesy sound that mixed together with the progressive, to create this like bluesy doom, heavy psychedelic, stoner, metal bands that I like to listen to today, like 1,000 Mods and Duel, and even like more commercial bands like
Duel Tool's cousin.
Duel. They're from Austin.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
A lot of good psychedelic stoner rock out of the Austin area, and a lot of their major influences is Pink Floyd.
To me, guys, I think this is more than just a band to get high to. I understand people think of Floyd
you understand that element,
I do, yeah, absolutely. And I think I never listened to Pink Floyd in an altered state of mind. I never have. I mean,
you're a fucking nerd. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking kidding.
It's simple. If you, your father, your grandfather, and your child can sit in a room and just admire the brilliance of artistry in this music, that's incredible. This band spans generations, and I'm talking about multiple, not just, hey, my father listened to it, but your grandfather could listen to it. Your
father's
son,
father.
His father's father, his father's brother's barber. Your son. What other bands can do it at that level other than Pink Floyd? I mean, they provoked thought in the 70s. And Bobby, you'd mentioned 70s rock. We had a run of highly intelligent musical acts: Queen, Rush, Pink Floyd, and that's just to name a few. When it came to 70s rock, there was a lot of territory for a lot of respectable acts. You had Led Zeppelin, heavy metal and blues, the Eagles, who blended rock, country, and folk, Rush, who was hard and progressive, Kiss, singing about singing and partying. But Pink Floyd had that avenue of just, they made you emote, they made you feel, and they were such a smart band. And Bob, you mentioned Syd Barrett, or Bob Joseph. Could you talk a little bit about what he meant to the band, or what happened to him?
I mean, he's what brought everybody together, I think, originally, man. And his voice and his sound, I don't know if people have heard, when people think of Pink Floyd, it's automatically they turn right to Dark Side of the Moon in 1973. But their first album was Pipe at the Gates of Dawn in 1967. If you like the Beatles, if you like psychedelic, if you like Jefferson Starship, if you like psychedelic rock, holy fucking shit, you want to listen to Syd Barrett, lead singer of Pink Floyd, in that album, dude. That album is so psychedelic and crazy and all over the place. Lucifer Sam, dude. If you're into James Bond, there's a cool little James Bond bluesy psychedelic lick. But I mean, if you're into popping acid in the 60s, this was the shit you want to listen to. Syd Barrett's Pink Floyd, man. So a lot of people don't know that, man. They know Dark Side of the Moon. They may know the Metal album that had echoes. That's one of me and Joseph's favorite songs of all time, and doing echoes. Where was it, Joseph? In Pompeii?
That little performance,
the live concert. Yeah, that was fucking amazing, dude. But the Pipe at the Gates of Dawn, what a title for an album, but very, very psychedelic. And Syd Barrett was very influential in that type of sound. And I think he had his own demons and his own drug problems, and he kind of led him astray. And one of my favorite songs of all time, which ties in perfectly to this, is "Shine On You Crazy Diamond" by Pink Floyd. And they wrote that, David Gilmour, they wrote that for Syd Barrett himself. "Shine On You Crazy Diamond," because I know he was this superstar and this crazy, he was I don't want to say leader of the band, but at one point I think he was the band, and for him to go through all his demons and all his trials and tribulations, and later, of course, obviously having to be separated from them, was a crazy time. And for them to evolve and transition and only become greater and more popular, and just so like changing the face of rock and roll for that type of music, is astounding, man.
Our introduction to Pink Floyd was Dark Side of the Moon. So we know, we grew up with the more psychedelic progressive rock sound that we talked about in the very beginning. But yes, like Bob said, if you go back and listen to those first albums, good albums. I don't want to say that there's, that they're not there, but they're kind of, on par with what was popular at the time. Very Beatles.
Yes, dude. Yes,
you hear that, and
if you like the Beatles, but you also like to drop acid, "Pipes at the Gates of the Dawn" is right for you.
And they're great albums. It's funny that you mentioned it, dude. It's funny that it's funny. It's not funny. It's
very funny, sir. I'm very funny.
No, it's just interesting that the first song off of their third album, which is the first album without Syd Barrett, titled "More." It's their third studio album, but it was also a soundtrack album to a movie of the same name, and it's all them. But the first song off of this album, "Circus Minor," if you listen to this song, you hear what we know Pink Floyd to be today. And it's the first song off of that album, and it's crazy. It's a great song. It's this real gloomy doom vibe-ish, slow, and it's interesting. It's very, very different from the previous two albums. With the situation that was going on, influenced the sound of this album. But it's really interesting how we talk about the two sides of Pink Floyd, and I think this, the third album, the first one without him, is really that start. So it's kind of it's an interesting time in the band's history. Go check that song out if for some reason you haven't. "Circus Mirror."
Do you guys remember the first time?
Excuse me. Sorry.
Circus Minor. Do you guys remember the first? Do you guys remember the first time you heard Pink Floyd?
I don't specifically remember date and time or location. But I'm pretty sure it was Money. Money was probably first introduced to me by my father, and I'm pretty sure that was the first song. I just don't know exactly when or where, but I do know I went to go see the Laser Light show when I was in 6th grade. So
you fucking jerk face.
6th grade, bro. I went to go see that.
I think the first time I heard it was I was in middle school. My parents actually owned the vinyl album, so we heard that. And then I immediately went out to Target or something like that and went to go buy the CD. And then I was off and running. But one of the times, Joseph, you can attest to this, dude. You were with me, man. We were, my parents were out of town, and Joseph came over to hang. I think 2 of our other buddies were there, and my sister was throwing a party. And there was a lot of alcohol and maybe some, extracurricular smoking going on. And they had Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon playing in the background. And I was like, this is the shit. This is exactly what I've been talking about. And then the older folks like it too. So I must be doing something right. So I think I was like, well, that was like sophomore year in high school. But I remember when I was in middle school, my parents having the vinyl album and my older cousin, Ken playing and being like, dude, this is the one. This is the shit. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that it's gone that far back, and they're even way further back than that.
I remember a cousin of mine, my cousin Danny, showed me The Wall, and I've never felt so excited and so frightened because I kind of knew what it was going to be about once that opening, scene comes on. And I mean, there were other times I felt excited and frightened, but I won't get into that. It's a different podcast. Anyway, to me, I thought I'd be prepared, but I wasn't. If you're going to show somebody that young Pink Floyd's The Wall, make sure that he or she has got the training wheels on with some Dr. Seuss, maybe some Ralph Bashki cartoons, and then hit him with a Pink Floyd, because it's overwhelming. The hammers, they still scare me. My wife wonders why I won't do any handiwork around the house. Blame it on Pink Floyd and this podcast and my work ethic. So I just felt that watching The Wall and listening to Pink Floyd act as a soundtrack to animation and all these symbolic things that I was just too young to understand, it just hits you. And even though you're very young, you know that there's something momentous is right in front of you that you're listening to. So many bands have been inspired by Pink Floyd: Tool, MGMT, Radiohead, the Mars Volta, Tame Impala, just to name a few. But nobody has captured what Pink Floyd has, or have they? I mean, why is that? Why are they so unique?
I don't think anyone has captured
3 of those bands.
Yeah, I don't think. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, come on, they don't even play music. Sorry, bad joke. I don't think anyone has captured. Yeah, fuck yeah, we are.
I got it.
I don't think anybody has captured that unique sound. When you have people like, David Gilmour on the guitar and vocals, and Roger fucking Waters, and then you have Richard Wright on the keys, which has played so many like monumental, solos or sounds or key points in songs, and then Nick Mason on the drums, and you're just like, that's impossible to replicate. They were the first, maybe not the first to do psychedelic rock, but they mixed psychedelic rock with blues and hard rock, and they kind of evolved into this amazing sound. And not to mention, they added these amazing heartfelt lyrics that really connected with their audience. So it's really hard to replicate. You can have the sound and have shit lyrics. You can have great lyrics and you can have a pretty shit sound. And these guys were able to create kind of their own niche in this psychedelic blues type of sound and create these amazing lyrics that it's just hard to replicate, man.
Pretty much agreed with that. I was thinking, though, I think I did read that, like, even amazing acts like Bowie their later efforts in the 80s, I believe, were influenced by his efforts in the 80s were influenced by Pink Floyd sound in the 70s. But to agree with Bob, I don't think anybody has, and I don't think it's really a bad thing either. I think maybe that's what makes them stand out amongst the greats, that we can't really come up with an answer for anybody that's captured like what you said, like what they did for the purist, and I don't think it's a horrible thing. Like, but take a band like Led Zeppelin. We love Led Zeppelin. We all look at Greta Van Fleet saying they're kind of like Zeppelin knockoffs. I don't, and that's that's not a knock on them. That's not a knock on them at all. But I don't know, or I can't recall. And if there is some bands out there that anybody can point to and say like, oh, they're just a Pink Floyd knockoff, then please tell me. Like maybe I'll like them. But
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? TMNT.
I think here's a funny story you might enjoy. So Roger Waters, his sons gave him a copy of OK Computer, Radiohead's OK Computer, and he liked it. He thought this band's really good, and so he's like, I'd like to listen to more of these guys. And he said all the other CDs were shit. He's like, I can stand them. He's like, OK Computer was great, but all the other Radiohead stuff, he said he went back to playing his classic rock. So it's just a little interesting tidbit. Let's go on to our honorable mentions.
Can we throw this out there first?
Go ahead.
I'm a David Gilmour guy. I'm not a Roger Waters guy. There's a split in them. There's a split in this Pink Floyd, legacy. It's fucking David Gilmour, bro. I don't give a fuck.
I believe that too, and I'm not going to get into what the things that Roger Waters does these days, and that's not really an effect on what me thinking that Gilmour is better.
Gilmour is fucking better. That's why.
It is, and it's not who Roger Waters is today that makes me think that. It's the voice, it's his voice, it's the songwriting, but that doesn't take anything away from what they did together. It's great music that they put out together, but it's David Gilmour.
So guys, honorable mentions, what do you got for us, Bob?
Oh, sweet. I have a lot. I'll try to make it short and sweet, but I can't make any promises. So we can start off with Comfortably Numb. I mean, that might be the consensus best song with a lot of people. Comfortably Numb, just such an amazing song, great lyrics. Goodbye Blue Sky, maybe not as known, but I mean, amazing shit. Joseph, Echoes, buddy. We got to go with Echoes. We got to mention Echoes. I'm trying not to mention all of them because I know Joe's probably going to rehash a lot of the ones that I mentioned.
Yeah,
but
we probably will.
But Have a Cigar, great fucking song.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Machine, On the Turning Away. Dude, I didn't even know that was Pink Floyd. Like, even my wife, the Creative Little Pill, didn't know that was Pink Floyd when she first heard the song until recently. She was like, I had no clue, and I didn't either, dude. I mentioned Interstellar, Overdrive, and Lucifer Sam off their first album, Pipe at the Gates of Dawn. Really good stuff. And lastly, I have to mention Shine On, You Crazy Diamond. That's the song. That's like I'm drunk, I've been drinking all night, and I need a song to like send me in the house, or I need to just fucking feel my shit right now. That is the fucking song I put on. I put on the concert with who's with them, Joseph? It's like
Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Crosby, Stills and Nash are with
him,
and it's a live show, and they sing fucking amazing. It's on YouTube. Shine On, You Crazy Diamond. With David Gilmour, it's just fan freaking tastic, dude. It's my favorite. It's not that I didn't choose this as the best song, but it is my favorite Pink Floyd song.
I do have another Brick in the Wall part 2. I think that's just a given. Wish You Were Here.
Something at the end.
All right. Wish You Were Here, Comfortably Numb, Time, Money, Breathe, Hey You, Shine On, You Crazy Diamond, Have a Cigar, On the Turning Away. I had that one too. Young Lust, great fucking song.
Yes.
Echoes, of course, and like I mentioned earlier, Circus Minor and the Nile song from their third album, First Without the original. Sid Barrett.
I want to preface my list by saying we didn't get a classic rock station in our area till 94. I was a senior, and we used to always shit on the programming because they would play all these old classic rock songs. But without that rock station, I wouldn't have heard a lot of these Pink Floyd songs or have been introduced to them. And this was before internet and all that other stuff. So, Q94.5 back in the day, listening to a lot of these songs.
Shout out to Charlie
Corona, our buddy. Hey You, Young Lust.
Hey You.
Have a Cigar, On the Turning Away, of course. What a beautiful song. Another Brick in the Wall. Money, Echoes, Learning to Fly, which I think it might have been their only MTV video, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a great song, and it shows you that I think the song came out in 1988. It shows you that they sounded as good in 1988 as they did in the 60s and the 70s.
Exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They just kept it, man. Comfortably Numb. Now, the only reason I couldn't pick this song is, and this is a stupid reason, I always hear the first two lines in Bob Dylan's voice. Hello, is there anybody out there? Just not if you can hear me.
I love Bob Dylan, you jerk.
Other than, it's a great song, but I hear Bob Dylan when I hear those first. Like,
speaking of Bob Dylan, have you ever heard the song "It's All Over Now, Baby Blue"? Fucking amazing, goddamn great, song. Man. That's he does sing kind of like a weirdo, but I love that about him. I love you, Bob.
You're gonna mention something, and of course, your two choices are on my honorable mentions list. You're gonna mention something about another brick in the wall part 2.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about another brick in the wall just quickly. I'm just gonna say this out loud. It's gonna be a negative opinion, but. And I'm sure I'm going to get shit on by it, but I don't find, if I hear that song on the radio, I don't turn it louder. Sometimes I change the channel. It's just one of the songs from Pink Floyd that doesn't do it. It seems like their most commercial song, and it just doesn't sit right for me. Joseph, I know you really like this song. What argue with me?
I do, but I agree with you that like it's probably the one that most
they use like in movies and commercials.
Yeah,
and
Shine
On You Crazy Diamond makes me cry and makes me want to take a shot of tequila and not fucking buy an Old Navy shirt.
At this point, I definitely see what you say. When when we were younger, and that song came on, I fucking loved it. I still love that song. It's a bit of it's a 3-part song. So what is it? There's like part 1, and then what is the ending to part 2 is the happiest time of our lives, I think. It's like, I get it, Bob. I get it. It's the most commercialized. It's probably the one that it's not that long of a song.
It's not too long. It's too thin.
It's there's a I think some people maybe at this point might be turned away by the children's choir singing that one verse, but yeah. I mean, I don't feel the way you feel about it. I mean, I know
I don't hate it. I'm just not one of I don't feel like it's one of those I can jam to anymore.
And this is why this is why my original idea for this episode, or I wanted to kind of turn it into a top 5 because it's so hard. Like even selecting the one that I did, was fucking tough. I probably wouldn't put this one in my top 5. Let's just say that.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the song you could chant with, because Pink Floyd doesn't have a lot of like, hey, let's sing along. It's all about listening. It's all about immersion with Pink Floyd.
Exactly.
It's not about like, yeah, let's sing along and and so when you hear that chant, it's like an anthem. And a lot of great bands have anthems. Queen, Led Zeppelin, they all have anthems, but Pink Floyd is not an anthem band. So I think when you hear that sing along, I mean, the rhythm and guitar in that song is great. But when
don't get me wrong. I agree 100% with you, Randy. It's an anthem, and you're just like, the Pink Floyd's not an anthem band.
Yeah. But I mean,
in my mind.
I could see why somebody might not like a purist might not like it, but I could also see why people would. Let's go on to our selections. Bob, what do you got for us?
Okay, here we go. So, coming off one of the Pink Floyd's best albums, arguably one of the greatest rock albums of all time, The Dark Side of the Moon, I chose Time. In my opinion, Pink Floyd's greatest song of all time. Starting with the opening, the ringing of the clocks, and that constant, the slow build of this song with the ringing of the grandfather clocks. I thought it was like an amazing touch. And then with Nick Mason's drums building up on that, it's such a great fucking opening, dude. A great song to open a concert with, as a matter of fact. It gives off such like a Tarantino movie opening scene or an epic scene in his movie. It gives off that kind of feel. The song has all the elements of a great Pink Floyd song. What is Pink Floyd known for? Psychedelic sound. It has it. That bluesy, amazing guitar. It has that. Fucking amazing guitar solo. It has that. The sound, the unique sound, the lyrics that give you all those feels, that give you the goosebumps. It has that. I've never heard this song, and I've been hearing this song ever since I was in middle school, like I mentioned before. Every time I hear the song, it gives me something to think about, something to feel about. It's one of those fucking songs, man, that just like gives you those goosebumps, makes the hair stand up. That guitar solo, dude, with the background singers by David Gilmour, just amazing stuff, dude. The building effect, that's just so crazy. The psychedelic, the blues, the opening scene, that David Gilmour sound, and then to add it all up, to build on that, the fucking lyrics, dude. The lyrics, they make you think about life. That you get lost in thought and memories and thinking about life every time you hear the song. And if you don't know the lyrics because you get lost in the sound, sit back and listen or look them up, the lyrics themselves really, really, really like hit you with. It's not just that, like, I don't know if we mentioned that earlier, but it kind of like takes you away. Pink Floyd doesn't play anthems. Pink Floyd's, it makes you get lost in the music, and this song is a great example of that. But you get lost in the music, and then hearing the lyrics and how they connect to you as you get older. Maybe something that I didn't understand when I was, 15, 16, 17 years old, but now that I'm in my late 30s, like I completely agree with and connect with and just like, holy shit, something that just like really, hits you in the heartstrings. The lyrics of this song are you can't compare them to anything else. It's just one of those songs, man, that's just completely Pink Floyd, from the sound to the guitar to the solo to. And what's crazy, and I think that's what's amazing about this song, it's in a collective effort. Roger Waters wrote this song. David Gilmour sings the chorus, and Richard Wright also sings some of the bridge in this song. So it's really a big collective effort, but they all have moments where they shine collectively, whether it's lyrically, whether it's singing, whether it's the guitar play, the bass play, the drum play, the keyboard play. This is just one of those songs if you're like, what does Pink Floyd sound like? You would play them Time, and everybody would get it off the greatest Pink Floyd album of all time. So that's my pick, guys. What do y'all think about it?
We're not going to debate the songs, so we all love all of these songs, so it's hard. But I will say this. Not as good as Hootie and the Blowfish's Time. I will say, no, I'm kidding. No.
I only want to be with you.
Look, the intro always scares the shit out of me when I have my headphones on. Those layers of clock noises.
Oh shit! Hold on.
I was going to tell.
Joe's going to tell the story. So one time we were driving to Austin, and I picked up Joseph after work, and we're like, we're going to go to Austin. We're going to go party. I think we're going to see a UT Longhorn game. And Joseph's like, I'm fine. I'm good. Let's go. I'll sit in the front seat with you. And now we're into the drive. He fucking falls asleep. The dick.
Less than an hour.
Yeah. This guy falls asleep. So I'm thinking like, motherfucker, he fucking fell asleep there. I need somebody to keep me. I've been working all day. I need somebody to keep me awake on the ride.
So was I.
So I plug in my phone or whatever, and I put on Time, and I turn the volume all the way up. It's real quiet.
Dina was there. Dina was there too.
Dina was there. Yeah, creative little Pill was there.
You told her to like.
Yeah, I told her, hey, be quiet and listen. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I put the volume on like full blast, and Joseph's passed out in the passenger seat, and then the alarm clocks go off. Joseph jumps out of his. I'm like, hey. Welcome back, motherfucker. You said you could stay awake.
I did. After that, I did.
Yeah.
I could do.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Sorry. I could do without those clocks myself, Joseph. I mean, cool trivia. Their engineer was Alan Parsons, who had some really great songs himself in the '80s. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Alan Parsons
projects.
Yeah, I'm going to talk from the projects. Yes, I'm gonna talk more about Alan Parsons during your pick, Joseph. Anyway, the only song on Dark Side of the Moon on which all 4 members receive writing credit is Time. Then you have this intro. It's like a Sergio Leone film. The stranger comes into town, but it's like this Old West buildup, and it keeps building and it keeps building. One of my favorite YouTube comments is Dave Gilmour doesn't plug his guitar into the amp. He directly plugs it into your soul. I mean, how about that, right?
Fucking shit. Yes. Whoever said that, thank you. I'll buy you a beer.
Wow.
It sounds so clean. And nobody uses background singers better than Pink Floyd. They're so beautifully subtle, and the background vocals during a guitar solo, yes, that's fucking amazing. Dark Side of the Moon sold 45 million copies in 972 weeks on the Billboard Top 200. So they did something right, and this song was part of it. This is a great example of Pink Floyd being so good at changing tones inside the same song. It's ethereal. Some parts are ominous, and other parts are just smooth. It's crazy. The last run, home again. It's like a really good Uber driver bringing you home safely, maybe tucking you in. 5 stars for that Uber driver. This song is about how time can slip by, but many don't realize until it's too late. Roger Waters got this idea when he realized he was no longer preparing for anything in life, but was right in the middle of it. He had just turned 28 years old. A 28-year-old did all that. Oh, part of it, right? Pink Floyd was right. The older you get, the shorter the years are. It's either Christmas or your birthday or your kid's birthday. It's just a quick cycle. You get slower, but everything around you gets faster. It's haunting. Here's my favorite lyric of the song. Haven't you heard? It's a battle of words. The poster bearer cried, "Listen, son," said the man with a gun. There's room for you inside. I get goosebumps. I'm about to pass out on another podcast.
God damn it.
It's such a beautiful song. It's so amazingly arranged. Joseph, what are your thoughts?
I think, yeah, that was funny. The story that I was all for it, buddy. I really was.
By the way, he was wide awake earlier when I got him a chicken sandwich with tomatoes, and he was almost going to throw because I had tomatoes, and he fell asleep 30 minutes later.
Man, this is an epic song. It really is. It's great. Again, like kind of what Randy said, hard to pick just one, and this one probably does end up in my top 5. The lyrics are so amazingly like detailed in this story of basically learning that time is a bitch.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. And just reading the lyrics right now is, I kind of like to do these things, like when we do these music ones, I put the song in my head, in my headphones while one of you gives your spill on it, and it kind of just adds to the moment. And hearing the line, and then one day you find 10 years have got behind you, like,
yeah, no,
fuck, that's like right now.
You missed the starting gun. Yeah,
I know. It's like, for me, that's like right now. It's an amazingly, it's heavy. And I love Randall's mention of the background vocals being used. Like the way that they structured this album in general, it's just so perfect. And this is one of the greatest songs. And I really like, as much as I love the music, the lyrics, the full song in itself are just like, it's poetry, man. It really is. Like, it's just fucking insane. Great pick, to be honest with you.
It's a great song to listen to as you get older and like you're shaving your gray chest hairs. It's like, I got to put this Pink Floyd song on.
Jesus, I don't have my gray chest hair, but I have a lot of gray in my beard. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Fucking goddamn it. Yeah, but chest hair, Jesus Christ, man.
No, not at all.
Wax it.
Yeah, great pick. Joseph, what do you got for us?
All right, so my selection for this topic, arguably their best, and in my opinion, the quintessential Pink Floyd song. My choice is Us and Them, the 7th track off their landmark album, Dark Side of the Moon. So just kind of wrote these notes. I was telling Randy earlier, before we got on, I wrote these notes maybe about, at this point, I don't know, 40 minutes ago, but just before we got
40 minutes ago, going on 4 months.
We had 4 months to prepare for this episode. Come on.
That's not how I operate. So I put my headphones on, and I put the song on, and I immediately, I felt like that, that there's that meme on Instagram of the monkey listening to a song, and it's just eyes are closed, just quietly listening to the song. That's how I felt. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Anyway, it's all over Instagram. But I closed my eyes and I let the music play.
I close my eyes.
No, don't bring Creed into this shit.
That's not Creed. That's Dust in the Wind, Joseph.
Okay, well, it sounded like that other song.
It sounds like magic. That's what it sounds
With
like.
arms wide open.
No.
Go on.
Keep singing, Joseph. He wants you to go on. Keep singing it. Goddamn.
Close my eyes. Let the music play. Let myself
only for a moment, and the moment's gone.
Let the feel the song. And it's not just a song. This song, it's it's a feeling. It's calm. It's peaceful. It's graceful. The opening with the organ notes playing. Sort of like gently carrying you into space. Adding the smooth sax sound wrapping you up like a blanket. It's just really fucking great. There's no doubt about it. The ability of this song to levitate the listener to this plane of existence that's only found in time and space, which is pretty much describing this band. The beautiful backing vocals by, I'm glad you mentioned it, Randy, because I wanted to get their names out there, and I'm sure they're specifically in this song, and I'm sure throughout the whole album, Leslie Duncan and Doris Troy. Beautiful background vocals, female background vocals by these two ladies, and of course the tenor sax by Dick Perry of this song. The band put together this absolutely beautiful piece of music to basically get you through the fact that the song is about madness and chaos, war and division. It's insane, and how incredibly this song resonates with us currently. It still gives me chills. It still gives me goosebumps anytime I hear this song. Very, very powerful lyrics. Us and them, and after all, we're only ordinary men. You know, me and you, God only knows it's not what we would choose to do. Just insane. You know, haven't you heard? It's a battle of the words. Just it's poetry, man. It's like I mentioned, you know, with Bob's song as well, and just this album in general and these lyrics. I mean, honestly, I'll admit I've been drunk and I've gotten emotional listening to this song. Yeah, maybe Creative Little Pill likes to tell a story about me listening to this song drunk. Maybe she'll tell it someday, or Bob will pass it on to you all. Whether you care to admit it or not, I'm sure plenty of other people have felt that way and done the same thing. There's a song by a band I like called Down. Well, that's the name of the band. The name of the song is called Beautifully Depressed. That's how I feel about this song. You know, that's how I feel this song can be described. It's beautifully depressing masterpiece. It takes you from start to finish through emotion after emotion. It's perfect and it's beautiful. And I think it's their mainstay or one of the, at least one of the features, maybe whether it's the opener or the closer, I don't know, wherever you want to put it on a live concert, if they were still to do that. That's why I think it's the best. What do you guys think?
Very truthful song, Joseph. There's no real underlying agenda to this song. It's just plug in and just listen. Pink Floyd's record company was originally hesitant to release this as a track because the company felt that the signature melody line was extremely depressing. By the way, there's a whole audience for that genre. They're called adults ages 18 to 65. By the way, this song, it takes you to church, then it takes you to the jazz club, then it takes you to fucking outer space. One of Pink Floyd's first uses of female backup singers, and you mentioned them, Joseph, and they were just amazing. An excellent addition. The engineer for this album, as I mentioned, Alan Parsons, who also worked on the Beatles' Abbey Road album. If you listen to some of Alan Parsons' project's biggest hits, Eye in the Sky, Don't Answer Me, and especially Time. Have you heard Time, Joseph, by the Alan Parsons Project?
By Pink Floyd, yes, it's amazing.
No.
I was about to say, yeah, duh.
No. Alan Parsons Project has a song called Time. It sounds a lot like Us and Them, Joseph. Check it out and tell me if you don't hear the similarities.
Okay,
by the way,
do that.
Alan Parsons Project is, it's more for people who like Pink Floyd, but only drink wine spritzers and don't do drugs. So that's why. Coolers. So I love it.
By 10 o'clock.
This song, Us and Them, was rejected from a movie soundtrack from a movie called Trolls 2. No, I'm just joking. It was called Zabriskie Point. I'm sure it's a great movie, but the song was obviously bigger. They should have kept it in the soundtrack. The whole Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Moon sequence scene, this song has a lot of people that points out to those parallels, because when Dave Gilmour sings Black, 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 the Wicked Witch is shown. When he sings Blue, 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 Dorothy is shown, and the Munchkin ballerinas look like they're lip-syncing Ordinary Men. So a lot of the Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Moon parallels were drawn from this song, or at least it might have started from this song. A lot of high school and college kids in the late 90s smoked a lot of pot and lost a lot of brain cells when they hit play after the third lion's roar, and this song had a lot to do with it. Bob, what do you think?
The saxophone, I mean, that little spot in the middle, that's unheard of in the, can you think of a rock song from like one of the famous, best rock bands of all time that like shuts up? They could have used Roger Waters' bass line or David Gilmour's guitar solo or Wright's piano solo like he's done so famously before. No, they use this little saxophone little solo that kind of brings it down, that really just fucks you up in the nicest way possible, that I can say that lyrically amazing. Us and them, and after all, we're only ordinary men. Like this, the lyrics of this song are amazing. This song itself is amazing. Definitely a slow down version. Again, the saxophone on it just makes me think like, this song is amazing stuff. There's not a lot of psychedelic guitar. There's not a lot of mix of that bluesiness, but it has that breakdown in the middle with the saxophone and the lyrics that are social commentary on, like classes fighting against each other. It's a really great song, Joseph. It's one of my favorite songs. One of my best moments of my entire life. And I'll mention Joseph, and it's funny because it mentions this fucking song. We announced to everybody when me and my wife, we Creative Little Pill first had our first child. We had like this, what's it called, gender reveal party, where we, made cupcakes, and they cut in the cupcakes, and if it's pink, it's girl. Obviously, if it's blue, it's a boy. So not being a boy, or you know what? No, I'm sorry, it wasn't even that. It was just us announcing that we were pregnant, Joseph,
Yeah, I was
on
about to say, I
Easter.
don't remember.
So we had this big Easter party, and it was like we announced that we were pregnant, and then we all stayed up and we all drank and we all got drunk, and we were just celebrating, eating, and we had a bunch of people here. And Joseph's like, feeling good, and he puts his song on. This is that story
I was mentioning.
He puts his song on, and he's like, "Yes, this is my jam, us and them, and this is my." And Joseph's just kind of like standing off to this corner, like just with his eyes closed, staring up at the moon and the stars, like just taking it all in. And then my drunk sister-in-law's boyfriend goes and changes it to like some hip-hop song. And Joseph's like, I'm going to fucking kick his ass. I'm going to kick his ass. Fuck this motherfucker. One of the funniest moments of that night, dude. Joseph just puts it on and he's like, who put on this shit? And this like 21-year-old dude like changes the song to some hip-hop bullshit. And Joseph's like, fuck this guy. Let's kick his ass. One of the funniest moments of my life. But yeah, it's a great song, Joseph. It's a really, really great song. I have nothing bad to say about it.
Joseph was feeling Pink Floyd, and all of a sudden, Crank That Soldier Boy comes on, and he's like, "Fuck that."
Bob, it's interesting. Like, I'm sorry. Before we move on, Bob literally just explained, like, I was doing kind of what I was trying to describe how this song makes you feel. Like, I mean, it's how it made me feel. I just, I don't know. I'm sure altered state of minds. In this case, alcohol was my state of mind at the time. And you don't need to be in any kind of way to feel the emotion pouring through that song. It's insane. And I know, like Bob mentioned, it's not necessarily, it doesn't have too much of a psychedelic vibe, but I just think it's kind of crazy how the piano and the organ playing and the saxophone overtook great instrumental bass and guitar from Waters and Gilmour. It's just crazy.
So we'll round up with my selection. I picked Wish You Were Here. This is also my favorite Incubus song as well. This song released as the title track of their 1975 album of the same name. Guitarist Dave Gilmour and singer Roger Waters collaborated in writing the music, with Gilmour singing the lead vocals. It was voted the 18th best rock song of all time by listeners in New York City's Q104.3 and ranked number 302 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. Both of those were polls in 2021. Billboard and Louder Sound ranked this song number 1 and number 3 respectively on their list of 50 greatest Pink Floyd songs. I cannot tell you how much I love this song. We often think of this song as just about missing someone, about death. It's really a commentary about us and how we cope with emotion and our own mental struggles. I don't mind Dave Gilmour clearing his throat at the start. Those loogies were magical. By the way, don't imitate that. I knew you guys were going to do it. I'm going to edit that out. Nobody wants to hear it.
They want to hear it. I think they hear this song so much.
Often been considered a tribute to Syd Barrett, who co-founded Pink Floyd, and who became increasingly erratic during heavy drug use. Roger Waters based the song on a poem he wrote about Syd Barrett's break from reality. In a 2022 interview on the Joe Rogan Experience, which is a podcast that gets almost as many downloads as we do, he clarified that Wish You Were Here was partially about Barrett, adding that he wishes he was there. And there's a lot of reasons to that, because Pink Floyd became increasingly more popular, made a lot more money with, Barrett no longer being in the band. And I think, the band members were like, we wish he could have celebrated what he created, and he's not here. He's not in the mental capacity to do it. Waters believes LSD fed into Barrett's eventual insanity, but it wasn't the sole cause, as the suspected Barrett was already teetering on the edge of schizophrenia. Waters watched Barrett slowly unwinding as the band rose to stardom, particularly after they released Arnold Layne. Imagine your band becoming one of the biggest bands in the world without you. I mean, it's got to be heartbreaking. He was their lead songwriter, so the band was hurt and scared to see Syd Barrett sinking more and more into the mental health struggles that he was battling. It's not a long song. The chorus only appears once, but its impacting theme of detachment and absence it's just so powerful, guys. The genius of Pink Floyd's music is that you can interpret it and use it however you like, but the underlying theme of this song is that our friend is sick and he's not well enough to celebrate the success, that he helped to build. It's mourning. It's guilt. It's about how the band still connects and relates to the person they knew him to be, not what he became. It was their funeral song for someone who is still alive. It's chilling. It really is. The only downers that Fred Durst covered this with Johnny Resnick. Fred Durst is like the guy who takes pictures in front of cool classic cars, but doesn't own any. He brought nothing to it. Go away. But this song, today is my best friend's birthday, and it's just, to talk about this song is just a tribute to him as well. What do you guys think about this song? My best friend passed away 17 years ago, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering. But go ahead, guys.
Yeah, you're talking about Carlos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a badass dude. Carlos, good dude. Helped me out. Hung out with him at spring break. I remember spring break at the island was a badass time. Wish You Were Here, probably the most emotional song of all time for when it comes to Pink Floyd. This is a song you think about, and I know it's not about somebody passing away or losing somebody, but I mean, fuck, the lyrics, they definitely connect with that kind of, they make that kind of connection, at least with me. Some of the best lyrics of all time for Pink Floyd, the opening scene, the opening guitar, the acoustic. Why? I mean, my only argument against it is that it doesn't sound like a Pink Floyd song, which is stupid to say because Pink Floyd is so eclectic in their mix and variety of music. It starts off with this opening riff in an acoustic guitar. So, it's not bluesy in a way where it's electric. It's not psychedelic. It's just amazing Pink Floyd stuff. When you've had a few beers and, you're reflecting on life and there's only a few songs you want to listen to, I think this is one of them. This is one of those songs that just really connects with audiences, and you don't even have to know who the fuck Pink Floyd is, but Wish You Were Here. You see the signs at bars or on street corners or posters being made. Wish You Were Here is that kind of, it's the anthem without being an anthem. It's for that ex-girlfriend. It's for that loved one you lost. It's for that best friend. It's for that someone you used to be so close to, but you're not anymore. Like there's so many variety of connections that this song hits with that it really does make it kind of the perfect fucking song. It's one of my favorites. If you had to tell me what's your top 3 Pink Floyd songs, this would be easily top 3. This song has a little bit of everything. It's one of the first songs I learned how to play on the guitar because I love that opening scene, that opening riff. Is it quintessential Pink Floyd, that sound, that psychedelic bluesy sound? No. Is it one of the greatest songs that I've ever heard? Fuck yes, man. Lyrically and musically, it is amazing. I don't think you could have gone wrong with any one of our 3 songs, but this is one that, for sure, just like Us and Them. I mean, pushing my song aside, Us and Them, the lyrics, Wish You Were Here, the lyrics, I mean, those, man, this is what makes Pink Floyd so amazing. It's not just the sound. It's not just a guitar or Roger Waters or David Gilmour. It is the lyrics. It is everything put together. It's an amazing band.
It's definitely in my top 3. It's definitely one of the more emotional ones. Maybe that's what makes it so great. Like my selection, there really is a feeling to this song, and it has multiple interpretations. Whether it's like Randy mentioned, a loved one, or just a departed friend or family member, or just a good friend you haven't seen in a long time. You mentioned Rand mentioned possibly Syd Barrett's influence on the song. Did you read about how he visited them when they were kind of in the recording process of this? Yeah. In the recording, it's not so much this song, but like
it's just fuck you all, made him take it live. No, I'm just kidding.
he ended up walking in while they were, or I'm not too sure with the whole thing, but he I don't know if somebody brought him in or if he was with somebody. And it's kind of how you mentioned Shine On You Crazy Diamond. That's what they were apparently completing a mix of Shine On You Crazy Diamond when Barrett walked in, and he wasn't recognizable at the time. And it wasn't until a few minutes later that Gilmour recognized him and Waters as well. And it was a massive, it had a massive effect on them, seeing him so, in a bad place, obviously. Apparently he talked to them a little bit, and the conversation was were a lot of delusional stuff and just crazy stuff, and it just really had to, and they say that I think Gilmour said that he had an original concept for this song, and it's not necessarily referring to him but I mean, you kind of can't help but think that, you know, that had a major influence on it. So there's that aspect, like Randy said, you know, just, you know, you're this successful group at this point, and you know, guy who was your best friend and you know, founding person member is not part of that anymore. It's just a real sad situation. Try not to be so depressing on this song, but it just really is a beautiful, and even from the not just love lost, I think, you know, just love in general. And I think it's a highly quotable song for individuals that just, you know, hey, I wish you were here, like, you know, to somebody you haven't seen in, like, or if you're separated from your love for an extended period of time, and you're trying to find a song or something that, you know, helps you cope with that and help you understand what you're going through in that time. And this is that song. It's just the sort of softness of it. Let's not be so, like, let's put something a little more real out. And it's just a great collaboration between the two. Definitely top three. Definitely.
I apologize for bringing this podcast down. This is the second podcast I bring down in like 4 days.
No, but I mean, it's,
he didn't bring it down. He just kind of fell down, you know.
It's Pink Floyd, man. I mean, these are like, I mean, come on. What is there any song that gets you in a good mood?
Money. Yeah.
Money.
Guys, let's close out with, what is Pink Floyd's legacy?
Man, where did I put them on that list of top 10 bands? Fuck, I wish I could remember.
I put them at 3.
We all had them in the top 5, I think.
Top 5,
yeah,
right?
I think,
top 5.
I think so.
I think they're in a class on their own, just because, like, you know, going back to that last question, we talked about how, you know, you're not really seeing, you know, anybody, you know, capture exactly what they did. And like I said, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I think these guys are in a league of their own. I wish things were different, to be honest with you, because
what a hitter.
I wish things were different between Gilmour and Roger Waters right now, because fuck, I would love to see this band, and they're probably one of those bands where, like, even at this point in time where concerts are a little more expensive, I'm gonna try to most definitely pay this money to go see these guys live.
For sure.
If they showed up, you know, somewhere in the
Texas.
You know, yeah, Texas general. Man, I don't want to go too far, but if I have to, I have to. So just, I think definitely one of those bands that people recognize that one of the greatest of all times, and will jump at any opportunity for them to somehow, you know, get back together and do some kind of reunion. I mean, I think people will lose it, and shit would sell out, most definitely.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I agree with that. I mean, as far as legacy is concerned, they're one of the greatest rock bands of all time. When you mention Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, you mentioned Pink Floyd, dude. That psychedelic sound and that bluesy rock, and David Gilmour and Roger Waters. I mean, their first album they put out was in 1967, and their last one, one of their last ones that Division Bell was in 1994. Like, who the fuck does that shit? You know what I mean? Like, even if you're like, okay, well, let's say when they were great. Okay, let's just do when they were great. Pipe at the Gates of Dawn was in 1967. The Wall was released in 1979. That gives them a good 12 years of superstardom then, and to continue to make music and, you know, have songs in the 80s and in the 90s. Like, holy shit. You know, on the Turning Away, like, how the fuck did we know that was Pink Floyd? And when did they come out, Randy, in the 80s?
Yeah,
It just freaks me out, man, that they've had the longevity, they've had the sound, they've had these top-of-the-line musicians where you're just, like, wowed by their lyrics and by their sound and by everything that they do. So as far as legacy is concerned, I think these guys are one of the greatest of all time. If you had to, again, twist my arm, they're top 2, top 3 for me.
Nobody can ever knock off Pink Floyd. You can't replicate all that inertia or sound. You can cause a ripple by trying to sound like them, and we named a lot of bands that are heavily influenced by them, but they are a tsunami all to themselves. Are they the best rock band of all time? That's arguable, of course, but you can't argue that they are one of the most unique. And one of my favorite concert stories, Bob, is your uncle, my cousin, talking about how... Do you want to tell the story? Or
No, you go ahead.
So... one of our relatives says he was at a Pink Floyd concert, and he bribed one of the lighting technicians with a joint so he could be with the lighting technicians as the concert was going on. And he said it was just an amazing experience. How true that story is, I don't know, but it sounds like
they climbed to the top so I could sit with the lighting technician, and they were bringing us buckets of beer. They're stringing them up there to us. And I was like, I don't believe you.
It's a good story nonetheless, but Pink Floyd has a legacy unto themselves and to the world because they're just amazing. Guys, let's close out real quick with is there anything you want to talk about real quick? One or two items.
If you haven't seen Severance yet, you need to watch fucking Severance. That shit on Apple TV is crazy, cool, weird, amazing shit.
Shoresy season 2 came out, finally available for me on Hulu, and watched that immediately. Love it. Can't wait for season 3. Unfortunately, 6 episodes. I watched them in 2 days, so that kind of screwed me over. I haven't had anything else to watch. Watched season 3 of Upload from Amazon, which also had 6 episodes, but they would do 2 episodes every week, so that finished quickly. Finished that. Another great show I recommend you check out. It's on Amazon. It's on Prime. Upload. Great show. Just finding out about a week ago that my favorite fucking show is ending with season 12, which will come out the day after Christmas. So
Taxi Cab Convention ended a long time ago.
Party of 5 or what is this?
so very, very sad. My
what show is it, Joseph?
Letterkenny. I was about to say.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ. That's an end, and that's gonna be with ending. Also, I'd like to shout out Kanjo Memory Foam Acupuncture mat set, doing some wonderful things.
It's like what's the name of the Asian dude in Police Academy who relies on the bed of nails? That was fucking hilarious.
What are these people paying us? Who are these people?
They're not paying us, but I would love for them to. I would love for them to. Kanjo Memory Foam Acupuncture mat set. It's like laying on a bunch of small little Legos with their pointy sides up.
But like Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street, you'll love these mats.
Like to put the mat on the ground, lay on it for about 15 minutes. Feel great when I stand up.
That's what she said.
We'll have to reach out and get a promotion. 2 quick things I want to talk about, guys. The Killer on Netflix, a great soundtrack, a great movie. The Smiths are coming back. I love the soundtrack. Check it out. Also, one thing we didn't talk about, guys. I know you have some thoughts on this. The Beatles releasing Now and Then. We didn't talk heavily.
Dude, such a great fucking song. If you want to cry on a Tuesday at 2:00 in the afternoon, just put on this fucking song. Jesus Christ, why would they do that to us? And I actually saw a short little documentary on YouTube about the making of it and how it was like they started to work on it for a while and they were finally able to like separate John's voice from this little cassette tape where he originally recorded off the piano. And Jesus Christ, man, the technology nowadays and the way they produce that song is just so amazing, man. And for the Beatles to end, let's say this is the end and that's our last song, for them to end on such a somber, sweet note off of John Lennon's song, that the first Beatle that was lost. I think it's perfect, dude. It's amazing.
Heard it, and the first thing I said to Bob was like it's a fitting end, I guess. It's perfect. Like for it being the last, it basically is what it is. It's the last song, and it's like going out like saying goodbye to that you still listen. It's not like you're never going to hear the Beatles anymore, but you really aren't going to hear the Beatles anymore as far as like new songs or whatever, anything like that. But so that's kind of like an interesting concept. And I thought it was a fitting final song. A good song.
I like it more for the sentimental value than the actual song.
That's what it is. It's got a ton of sentimental value. You hear John Lennon's voice and you're like, fuck, man, that's such it's more of like a what could have been type of thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. AI technology. I wish Paul would have sang it. Maybe he would have liked the song better if I'd sung it.
We had to get one Paul.
Had to try. No, but it's like finding, like, for those of us who have lost our parents, it's like finding an old picture of your parents that you've never seen. It's kind of that kind of cool memory and remnants. So, great fitting end. You guys said it as well as it could be said, and it was just such a treat to get one last song from the Beatles, if it is the last one. That's our show, everyone. Listeners, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up and let us know what your favorite Pink Floyd song is. Most importantly, let us know what you think about the show. You may reach us at formidableopponents@gmail.com and follow us on all forms of social media by searching for Formidable Opponents. We want to thank Creative Little Pill for her great artwork. Please follow her on Instagram. You can also find her on Fiverr. If you want somebody great to do your podcast artwork, she's the person for you.
I was like, you can find her links and everything on her Instagram account, Creative Little Pill.
There you go. And please subscribe, rate, and review us on any podcast platform you're listening to us on. Join us next episode. We'll be back next week with best Nicolas Cage movie.
Sir, it's Nick Cage, sir. You put some respect on his name, sir.
So for Bob and Joseph, this is Randall or Castor Troy, whatever. See y'all next week. Bye, everybody.